Hi everyone, this is the second lecture of the course officially. We are going to be talking about primitive data types and variables. This is a very basic lecture, but I mean everyone who starts with programming should know this in some form. But I'm sure there will be at least one or two things that every one of you is going to learn today. So let's get going. So what we'll be doing today, primitive data types, those are numbers, Boolean, character, string, object, and then also we have dynamic. Is there anyone here who knows what dynamic is as a data type? One person. Okay, so most of you will learn something. Do you know what big integer is? Okay, then right. So one person will not learn anything today. I'm very sorry. Okay, we'll be talking very briefly about variables, how to declare them and how to use them will be in the demos earlier on. And nullable types, I decided not to go into that much detail because these are used very rarely, and if you do need them, you can read them online. So just to keep it short and easy. Okay, how variables work. So computers process data. Okay, when you load up a program or an application or a website or something like that, the computer will have to process a lot of data. So let's say that you open some website. It has to read your pictures in some way, the titles, all the text, effects, and so on. So all of this is stored into data, and this is so data is stored in the computer's memory. So when you load up an application, or say you use Chrome and so on, your RAM is gonna go up just because of those variables and data types. So variables have data type, name, and a value. And let's have a very short demo of this. So today I'll be doing a whole solution instead of a single project. So blank solution. So if you're doing your homework, what I'm doing today as a demo, this is what you should be doing back at home when you're doing your homework. So let's give a nice name to this. So primitive data types demo. Okay, let's wait until it loads up. So now here I have to click add new project, and then I have to do console application with C#, and let's call this one I don't know, declaring, let's call it integer variables for a reason that you will know in a bit. Okay, so let's press OK. I think everything is fine. Let's wait for Visual Studio to load up. Okay, so I am gonna rename this into one integer variables, and I'm gonna rename this as well. And as I said last time, we delete all of this. We delete the namespace as well. We delete this. The arguments also. Then I select all of this, and then I press Shift Tab to bring it back. Okay, so how do we declare variables? So let's say int number equals 5, and for some of you this may be easy, but we need to start from somewhere. So okay, so as we said from the presentation, variables have data type, name, and a value. So here the data type is int, which stands for integer. We give it a name number, this name can be, you know, anything. Maybe number 5, or let's say number of legs equals 2. Let's say make it a 4 because it's a dog. So number of legs of a dog, and then int number of eyes equals 2, and so on. So again, this is the data type. This is the name that we can give. It can be almost anything. I say almost because not all characters are allowed, and certainly you are not allowed to name your variables with a keyword which is in C#. So for example, I cannot name a variable int equals 5. I'm gonna get an error here. Or you've seen this one. You may not know what that is, but I cannot name it int class equals 5. If I want to use for some strange reason this specific word, I can just put an alpha in front, and this is going to work now, or it should. Yeah, it works. So kind of escaping the fact that class is a keyword in C#. But normally you don't have a good reason to do this, so I'll just delete that. Okay, another thing that I want to say, if you've noticed the way I write my variables, the first word starts with small letter, and every next one starts with a capital letter. So this is a convention in C#. I'm not sure about other languages, but definitely for C#. If you're writing in JavaScript, I believe this specific convention was the same, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, this is very, very important to, you know, keep in mind, because if I write it just with small letters, and it's now very, very hard to read, especially if, you know, it's a longer word. It gets hard to read. So let's change that back up. And this way is nice. Once you get used to it, you know, it's gonna feel better anyway. So yeah, again, we have the data type. There are different data types. That's what we are going to be talking about today. Then you have the name, and then you can assign a value to it. Okay, let's keep on going. So okay, what is a data type? A data type is a set of values with similar characteristics, or I would like to call them similarly, that's you know, group of objects with you know, with something similar. These can be numbers, characters, text, or other things that we'll be looking in a minute. So a data type is specified by its name, size, bounds, and the default value. Some data types don't have bounds, for example, but you know, this is kind of the main definition. Why do we need data types? Well, data types, and especially these primitive ones that we'll be doing today, numbers, characters, text, and so on, they're used to model the world around us. So say that if I wanna make a dog, I am gonna need some way to describe it. Say if I have a dog or a bunny in a game, I would need a way to describe it somehow. Maybe I may need the age of the bunny, level, experience, name, or something like that. So I need these primitive data types to be able to model the thing that I'll be writing about, and pretty much everything can be done with this. Well, with these primitive data types. Or if there is something that I need specifically, you can do a class which includes these primitive data types. Of course, there are other than primitive ones, but we'll be doing that a bit later on. There are things like arrays, queue, stack, what else? List is a very useful one, but we'll be doing those in the future. For now, we're just talking about primitive ones, and once you know the primitive ones, you can write on your own these more complicated ones that I've just described. And you have as a homework, I believe, in the second course to write either a list or a queue. I'm not sure, one of the two, by yourself, and it's going to work the same way. Right, so I see a mistake here, so let me just correct that. I don't like mistakes. Okay. So here is an example of the specification of integers. So the name is int. We saw that. This is the keyword with the help of which we initialize our variable. Size is 32 bits or 4 bytes. I'm not going to go into much detail why, how is it calculated and so on, and it has to do with zeros and ones, but I really don't want to go into much detail. The bounds, you can give any value from -2 trillion, is that it, or billion? 2 billion, okay, from -2 billion to 2 billion approximately, and the default value is 0. This is just an example, simple one, but we'll be looking a lot more right now. So let's start with integer types. As we said, there are numbers. They fall into two categories, so integers and floating point numbers. Then we have characters, string, and so on. So let's start first with integer types. So we have sbyte, which is from -128 to 127. It takes 8 bits of RAM. The unsigned byte is pretty much the same, but has only positive values. Then we have short, which is 16 bits, so a bit larger bounds as well, and so on. You can see all of them. So here the most common one to use is int. Okay, it's gonna do a nice job almost every time. The long, if you're doing some sort of complicated calculation or where you need, more digits. But in my experience so far with games, you very, very rarely use long. I haven't at all, but there may be some weird game where you have to use it, but from -2 billion to 2 billion is pretty much enough. But yeah, it's there just so that you know. I think, yes.
Do you often use short and use short to save up memory?
Do you often use short and use short to save up memory? In the past, yes, but when you have, so most PCs now have at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, and even that's not normally enough. So to fill up the memory with int variables, you would have to, try really, really hard. I think I did it at some point by accident with an infinite loop that was making variables, but that was just by accident. Normally, there is no easy way to do that. Let me say, but in the past, probably yes. And as a general rule, if you don't need as a general rule, if you can save up some, space or memory or anything like that, you should do this. But computers today are, fast enough and advanced enough for you not having to worry about this. Say, especially in C#, do you know that C# clears automatically, its cache and variables and so on? Yes, C++ didn't do that, right? So you had to clean up after yourself, right? Yeah, so yes, C# 1.0. Okay. So yeah, you really don't have to worry about this. There is one data type which we'll be looking at later on in the lecture, where if you can, you should not use it, but we'll get there. And the one that probably some of you haven't seen, or at least I saw it for the first time in C#. This is big integer. So yeah, let's have a quick demo of all of this. It's not going to be that hard, so I'll just leave that. So let's put a comment declaring. So these demos are going to be online, so I'll be as rigorous and complete in my comments as possible. So declaring data types, declaring variables, and then we have we have type, we have name, and we have equals value. Okay, right, and now we have to do some examples of these ones, and when there is absolutely no reason for you to use something like int or long or big integer. So let's have byte number of legs, the one from above, equals say 4. So here there is absolutely no reason for me to use something else here, because there is no way that I am going to get above 128, was it? I really don't remember them. 127. Does anyone remember them all? No, so you don't need to. This is information that you can open the presentation or look in Google for like 30 seconds and it will be there. So no reason for you to remember those, and I certainly don't. Okay. Right, so let's do sbyte. I think this was yes. So sbyte, temperature outside. Okay, I'm going to put a minus sign, say -12, because the examples here are when should I be using this one instead of the other one. So for number of legs, there is no reason to use sbyte, and for temperature outside, if it's negative, I cannot use byte. So yeah, ushort, something a little bigger. Ushort means unsigned short, which unsigned means without a sign, so it has to be positive. So year today, or current year is better. Current year is 2015. What else? Short. Deepest place on Earth, and that was minus 11,000 and something kilometers. Okay, I'm not gonna put kilometers. Meters. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, how stupid of me. Well, yeah, meters. So let's put it there, meters. Right. So int money I spent today, and that's say some big number minus 2 million, and I spend them, so they're there with a minus sign, let's say. Yes, you cannot put spaces around like I did. So if you want to put if you want to write 2 million just for your orientation, you can do this to count and see, but after that you have to delete them because it's not allowed. Okay, and then unsigned int money I won today, and that's 2.5 million. So I am still ahead, playing some weird game with high bets. Long, and it was really hard for me here to think of an example where you really need something that big. So let's just call it 2 to the power 56. And last time we did the math class, so math.pow was the function, 2 and then 56. And now that should work. Why does it not work? Cannot complicitly convert double to long. Okay, so I'll put a long here. Pretend that I haven't done this. I'll be talking about this just a little bit later on in the lecture. Basically, math.pow as a function returns double, as most of the functions in C#. And yeah, but we'll see how we can convert and so on. Why is it used double and not something else? So yeah, long, and then we have the big integer. So what is going to happen if I write here big integer? Well, nothing is going to happen. So let's say some large number.
United States public debt.
All right, maybe some other time. And here let's say math.pow pretty much the same line as above, but 2 to the power, 100, some really, really big number. And can anyone tell me why I'm not allowed to use this right now? What's the problem? My using? Okay, so let's see if this control dot that I showed last time is gonna work here. Global namespace program, no. So what I need to do, big integer is stored in a separate library, so I have to do using system dot, do you know what system should I be using? No, numerics. Okay. But if I go down, so here it says it's not there, and I'm definitely not wrong with this one. So what I need also to do is go into references, add a reference, and from here I should be able to find big integer, or sorry, system.numerics. Let him load that for a second. So system.numerics, this one. So I need to add it, press OK, and now it should load. It should load. Yes, there we go. And now I can do the same line, and let me try and just print this, because it's console dot some large number, and let's see what happens. It should be relatively big, I think. Not that big, but still big enough. Right, I think that is fine, but I really want to try something else. So 2 to the power 56 times 2 to, so instead of writing all of this, I can just press enter, and it's gonna know what I'm doing straight away. So you don't have to write everything by hand as I normally do. So let's see. 0. Interesting. Big integer. Let's see now. Yes, now it's it's okay now. Right. Okay. That was about integer types, pretty much everything. Again, you don't have to remember all of them, just remember your int. In some very weird cases, your long, and big integer if you have to calculate something like what you said, United States public debt. Okay, so something like that. So then you have to use something clearly very big. So yeah. Okay, so this was the first demo, and I forgot to do something very important that you should never forget. So here I have to change this class program into a meaningful name. So there's going to be integer types. I can save, and now I can minimize this, because we'll be adding another project in a second. So let's get there first. Any questions here on the integer types? Anything that I missed?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Instead of manually adding the library that we needed,
Okay.
I think I remember that you could actually right-click for example, the big integer, and there were automatic options to maybe add the using numerics, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so the question is, do I need to add the reference to system.numerics when I can right click or actually press control dot to add it automatically? So the reference you have to add, but once I've added it and say that I've missed this using, then it should be able to find it when I press control dot. So yeah, the reference you have to add, but for the using you can do this automatic control dot and then enter, and then it's gonna add it automatically for you. So a similar data type that we'll be doing later on. It's not primitive. Big integer is also not primitive, but I wanted to show it anyway. So say list of int, and imagine that you do not know this. You should know what that is, but I just want to give an example. So sum list of int equals new list int, and I really hated these initializations. So yeah, here it doesn't find it. So when I press Control dot, it should say you're missing. Let me zoom that. Using system.collections.generic. So this is the using that I should be adding. So Control dot and then enter, and now it should be all fine, I hope. Yes, and now it's fine, and we have a list. And you can do this with all libraries which are within C# and all libraries that you have added your reference to the project. Okay, I'm gonna delete that because it's not relevant right now. Down here, just declaring different type, different variables according to most suitable data type. Okay, let me save that again, and let's keep on going. Any other questions? No? Okay. Okay, but whole numbers or integers, they are not everything there is about math. So we are going to be needing also some floating point or real numbers. This is the best way to probably explain it. So we have three types here. Float, which has precision of 7 digits. We have double, which has precision of 15-16 digits. And the one which is the most accurate is decimal. So why does C# not use decimal as a default data type, but it uses double? Because decimal probably has is quite large for the RAM. That's the only explanation I have. But it may be something else. In any case, double is the most popular one. And if you want to, you can use this one. Decimal, because it has higher RAM, it's normally used if you want very precise calculations. Say if you work in the banking or finance sector or something like that, then you should be using decimal when you need, quite a big precision of your calculations. Okay, here is something which we did not mention for the integer types. So whenever you are declaring a variable of type float, double, or decimal, you have to put something in the end which is called literal. This way the program will know what kind of floating point number are you thinking about. So there is a demo there. Yes, so let's create another. Let's add a new project, and let's call this floating point data types. Okay, now what I need to do is rename this to dot. Okay, I need to rename this as well, floating point data types. Yes, and again the same thing. You will get used to this because you will have to do it every time for now. Control tab. What happened? I didn't want control tab. Shift tab. I said okay, and then we remove this and we are good to go. So just to point out something that if some of you have written their homework and they've never used C#, this may have been bothering you. So if I just do a simple console write line of this is the second task, and I press Control F5, and I am gonna get the previous answer, and this could be very annoying at first, but what you need to do is your solution right now is has the setting to always open the first project that you have. So to change this, you right click on your solution, then you go to properties, and after that we wait for a second, and this is what you get. So this is the current option that is selected, so single startup project, and here it says 1. You can change it from here from 1 to 2, but it's best, to just go with current selection, hit apply, and now when I'm on the first project, it's going to be highlighted. As you can see there, it's a bit bold, this thing here. And when I select the second one, this one is going to be bold now. Okay, and when I press Ctrl F5, this is the second task. So we are good to go. I was gonna say something and then I forgot about it. Anyways, so let's keep going with the demo. Okay, here is a weird example where the things are not gonna happen how you think they are. So let's do a double, say first number. Always have descriptive names. I really don't want to see something like A, something like then double B, and so on. So you should not be using this. Normally it's a very bad practice. The only exception which is normally allowed, do you know what that is? I or J or K. Instead of writing for your indexes int index, it's normally good enough to just write I, because I and J and K, they're used in maths and programming quite often to just show indexes. So but we'll be doing that a bit later on. So even if I do this shortcut for a for loop, which you don't know what it is right now, it still does with E, the automatic autocomplete. But yeah, anyways, so double first number equals 2.0, and I am going to put it as a float for now. And double second number equals, say, 0.56f. Okay, and then sum. So double sum equals, what is the sum? 2.56. Okay, 2.56f. And what do you think if I do console.writeLine and then I do I have to do it in another way here, so just 1 second. So first string sum of first and second number is and then I'll just put sum. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna scroll very slightly. So, and then I want to do first plus second number. You'll see in a second what I mean. First plus second number, and then I do plus first plus second number. What do you think is going to happen? Are they going to be the same? So what I did here was I gave two values to the first and the second number because they were easy. I managed to calculate them in my head, and what I did then was to print the result that I got in my head, and then I just print the sum of the two numbers as if the computer would solve it. So what do you think is going to happen? Are they gonna be the same?
No.
Do you know why?
The precision of the second answer.
The precision of the second answer. Okay, so let's have a look. Right, so as you can see, even the number that I calculated, and it should have been correct, like 2.56, it was given, you know, straight up here. So sum is 2.56, and I told it to be that much. Even when I'm printing the same number, you can see that they are different. So you have to be really careful when you're using float. And the other result, which is the first number plus the second number, is also not 2.56. So you should be really careful about this when you're solving problems. And normally I would suggest that you use double for your calculations. If you need something, you know, very precise, you should use decimal. So yes, the reason I did double here and then I converted it to a floating point number is for you to see a bit more easily what happens. But if I do it with a D here, the result should be pretty much the same, I think, or not. So yeah, double is a bit more precise in that sense. So double is not gonna make that mistake for you. And also I don't need the D. So double is so commonly used that C#, you know, said, well, if you're using a floating point number, then you just not need to write the D's at the back. So the double is, you know, a lot easier to use, and that's the thing that you should be using. And there you go, the answer is the same, it works. But if I do it with float, so, you know, just another example here. If I do the same thing, first, now another number equals 2.0f. This is gonna work. I'm not gonna get any errors. But if I don't put the f here, it should not work. Yeah, I have an error. And somewhere around here is literal of type double cannot be implicitly converted to float. So whenever you write 2.0, you automatically mean that this is gonna be a number of type double. Okay. What can I do here? So the thing that I used it in the previous example where I put something in brackets, this is called typecasting. So if you wanna tell the computer, well, I am giving you a number and I want you to convert it to this specific data type. So here it says that this number 2.0, the way I've written it, is of type double. And if I really want to have this number as a type float, this is what I should do. This is float, and now it should perform a typecasting. So we are changing the type of 2.0, which is originally 2, to a float number. This will become a bit more clear a bit later on. We'll see. But if you have to change between types, this is one way. Okay. Is there anything that I didn't go through? Okay, yeah, decimal. Decimal, high precision number is math.sqrt of, let's say, 2. Just the square root of 2. What am I not doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Typecasting. Okay, so decimal. Yeah, so it is already in double, so there is no point of doing it to double again. And let's see what happens. I did not log it, so nothing happens. High precision decimal number. Okay, and we see there should be a lot more, but because math.sqrt is already in double, it is only going to give me some precision. How can I get something divided by 7? Maybe like 2 divided by 7. Is that going to work? No. 2.0. Sorry? 2.0 divided by 7. Maybe that's gonna work. Yeah, sorry. Nope. What is the error? Cannot implicitly. Okay, so yeah, then decimal. Yes, a bit more than they were last time. So if we count these, they should be about 28 or 29 digits. So let me zoom that. So up to here somewhere, then maybe up to here. So yeah, 26, 27 digits of precision. And yeah, if you need something more precise, but I doubt that you need 28 correction of 28 points. Normally you just use double. Okay. Let me close those two. Any questions about these? No? Okay, let's go on. Okay, the next one is Boolean type. So this is probably the easiest one and the simplest one. Boolean type is declared with the keyword bool and has two possible values, true or false. And this is very useful. It takes practically no memory, and it's very useful for some things, especially like in games. Say if you want to check that I have pressed a button, have I pressed this button, is it true or false? And depending if it's true or not, you are going to do different things. So the Boolean type is used quite often. So let me open a new, so I have to do this all over again. New project, console application, and then Boolean type. Then change my name here to 3. Then change it here as well. Boolean type, yes. Delete all of that, delete all of that. And then try shift tab. There you go. Okay, this one is going to be very simple. Bool, does bunnies have 4 legs? Sorry, does, of course. Do bunnies have 4 legs? My perfect English. And what is the answer? It's not 1, actually. True. Okay, so you write it with words. What is going to happen? Bool, do humans have 2 legs? What happens if I write 1? Let me delete it first so that you don't see the answer. It's okay. Are you coming from C++ or C? Okay. Well, no. I think that it didn't allow it. I don't remember details like this, but let's see. Yes, you see that red thing there? So let me compile and see what error am I gonna get. So cannot implicitly convert type int to bool. Okay, so the reason for this is kind of obvious, because you can break the Boolean type if it's 0 or 1. First of all, you can confuse yourself somehow. Can I, if it's a 0 and a 1, can I add 2 Boolean types, and what does that make sense? Like, is it some kind of an operation like AND, or it's a bit confusing. So C# about this is good, and it kind of tells you that you're not allowed to do this. So do humans have 1 leg? Equals false, and this is pretty much how you write it. And yeah, and then what else can we do? So let's take 2 integers. Int a, first number equals 5, and second number equals 4, and let's say that I wanna check. Thank you. I wanna check if the first one is bigger than the second one. Have you written my lectures? Probably, yeah. Okay. So console.writeLine. The way you check two numbers if they're equal. If one is bigger than the other, it should be first number bigger than second number. I guess that should work. let's see, it's true. Okay, the first one is bigger than the second. But if I want to do is the first one equal, I have to do something similar, but instead of one equal sign, I have to put two. First number equals second number. The reason why when I'm comparing, integers and data types and so on, I use equals two times because the usage of one is already taken. So if I want to give value to some variable, then I use the single equality sign. But if I want to check if something is true or not, then I use the double equal sign. In JavaScript, that wasn't enough. So if we do JavaScript nonsense, I actually have to use three times. First number equals second number. Yes, not always, but if you use it twice, you can get some weird errors and you'll have no idea where they have come from. So once we get to JavaScript, I'll show you what happens when you have equality sign two times, and in some weird cases you can get true. But I can give you some in the break because this is a bit more advanced. Okay, so yeah, just to let you know. So this second one should be giving me false, and as you can see, it's giving false. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. The first one was true and the second one was false. So this is pretty much the easiest data type. The Boolean, it's either true or false, and you should remember, if you're coming from another language, you cannot use 0 or 1. It doesn't work this way. Okay, let's keep on going. Character type. So character, it's what you think it would be. It's just a character or a symbol, just a single one. It is declared with the keyword char, and char or char, I don't know. Takes 16 bits of memory and has a default value of /1. Okay, this one is not that hard as well. So let's make a new demo of it. And once we finish with all of the demos, I will show you how to open the folder and so on. What kind of file you should be handing in as your homework. So this is going to be character types. Yeah, again, the same thing. I know it's a bit annoying, but that's the right way to do it. So we do it this way: Boolean types, character types. Sorry, yeah, we did Boolean. Yeah, it's a bit late. I'm a bit slow. If you see any mistake, please let me know. So character types, or just type, because it's just one. And then here as well, character type, and then we delete this, we select all, then shift tab, then we remove this, and we are good to go. So char some symbol equals the way you initialize a character is with single parenthesis. How are these called in English? Sorry, quotes. Okay, quotes. Yes, signs are not my, apostrophes maybe. So this is parentheses or quotes, and the other one is, sorry, what you said? Apostrophe. Okay, so yeah, this is apostrophes. I'll call them single and double parentheses just because parentheses, okay, parentheses bracket. So okay, 2 upper commas then. So yeah, you have to use single quotation marks. Does that work? Yes, okay. Single quotation marks for a character, and it really does matter which one you use between this one and the other one. So let's put a random character here. Then I can also print it on the console, just some symbol, and this is gonna work. Okay, right up there. What's next? Yeah, so let's just try another one. Char another symbol equals, let's put the same one. I am gonna get an error down here. Cannot implicitly convert type string to char. So there is something here that I am doing wrong. Some languages like JavaScript allow for this to happen, writing char and string in the same way, but here it is not allowed. Yeah, so this is not allowed, and I have to comment that as well. Okay, what else? We can give a symbol in another way as well with its Unicode character, if that speaks something to us. So let's have a look at this on Google. So Unicode table or ASCII table as well, depends on what you're after. So this is a table of all of the characters, and instead of writing it straight away like A, the K that we did, you can also give the number of this character. So this one is U000A, okay, and then this is another one 0059. So let's try to get that Y, but instead of just writing char another symbol equals Y, sorry, writing too much JavaScript these days, unfortunately. So yeah, Y, instead of doing it this way, I can do it with the Unicode symbol for it. So it should be /U and then 0059, and that should work, I hope. So CW and then another symbol. Yeah, there it is. So if you want to do some weird character, you can by giving the Unicode symbol for it this way. Okay, that was pretty much about it for characters. Those are quite easy as well. Then we have the string type. I said, if you remember in the last lecture, that strings are probably the hardest thing you will have in this course, but not in this lecture. So in this lecture we just declare, we add, and so on, easy things. But when we get deeper into how to operate with strings and text, how to search for a word in a text or something like that, you will see that this is probably the hardest of all the lectures, along with the arrays. So arrays are harder as well. Not hard as a concept, but the problems that you can get are hard, and they're also used in real life, especially in some games. I remember there was a string problem that I was working on a couple of months ago, and just because it was string and it was something very specific, it was horrible to write down. So string, again the same thing we have to do, and I forgot to rename this for dot. Are there any questions while I do this at all? 5 dot string. I remember it this time. String types. Yes, please. Remove this. Remove this. And yeah. Okay, so string. It's done pretty much the same way as all other ones. So we use the keyword for string, which is string, and then some text equals, and now I have to put double quotes. We agreed on that, so double quotes. And now I have to do something like Zariba. Okay, and then I need another one, another text equals academy, and let's write them both. So here it's the first one plus the second one, but I want to add space between them. So this is how you do it, and then another text. Okay, and now we should be getting the space here that I was talking about. So I want to say that adding strings with a plus, this and this, it's a slow operation. There is a better method, but we'll be doing that a bit later on. But normally strings and adding strings and so on is slow. Has anyone heard of string builder as a data type? Yes, so this is the fastest way that you can do it. Like do most operations on a string, you can do that. So I mentioned a new data type. So if you want to use it, we can do string builder. I don't know, I haven't used it in a while. String builder some text equals new string builder, and then I think this is how you initialize it, I'm not sure. But now if I press Control dot, it should say, what did I do? String, oh yeah, Mr. G. Let's see if that's gonna work. So yeah, using system.text. And now when I use it, it's gonna be new. I am just saying, like, if you don't know where what your usings are and you know that something should work, then just press the Control dot, and it really helps most of the time. Okay, is there anything else? So as you can see, the way I'm writing this now, it's a bit tedious. I'm writing the first variable, I'm writing the first variable, then space, then the second one, and I'm doing plus signs and so on. There is a better way to do this with placeholders, so I'll just show that very briefly, because our next lecture is about that. So let me just put it, this is the same as the line below, but easier to use. So we are going to be doing something which is called placeholders. They are different with the different languages. I remember in C, it really mattered what kind of placeholder are you using and so on. But here, it's very easy. So we write the curly brackets, and then I put a 0 in it, and this is a placeholder, meaning now if I give my variables after the the double quotation marks, after do it, if I put my variable after that, it's gonna put it in the placeholder. So let me just delete that so that it's not in the way. So here I want to put some text. Control F5, and you can see that the first one is there. Say that I want to do some numbers here, like 2 3 4 2 3 4, and it's written as well here. So I didn't have to write the first part, then plus, then the variable, then the second part. I can do it in a single quotation marks there. So if I want to do the same as the one above, I'll just put 0 and then just space and then 1, which is going to be my second variable. This is now another text. There you go, and that should work. Okay, here come a couple of questions. What happens if I put another variable or the same one? What do you think is going to happen? Do I get an error? Because I only have 2 placeholders here, and there are 3 variables here. What do you think is going to happen? It just won't be used. So the last one won't be used. So this one starts and it's fine. Okay, but what happens if I put a third placeholder here? I get an error because the placeholder, let me zoom that. So this placeholder corresponds to this variable, this placeholder to the next one. And when C# sees this third one, it will be expecting to have something there. It's not there, so we get an error. Okay, is it a problem if I do this? No, I am just gonna get it, twice. So that's just it. Okay, let's just leave it the way it was. What do you want? The file save chain inside this editor has been. Do you want to reload it? No, thank you. Okay. Right. I think that's pretty much it about. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to show: string, even another text. What happens if I do this? I should get an error. Yes. It says now too many characters in character literal. So these single quotation marks, they're called literals. So I'm not allowed to do this. This sign is only reserved for a character. I'm not allowed to do anything else. So what happens if I do put just a single one here? What is going to happen? I have an error again. So these are the kind of things that you should not really remember, but if you need or struggle or something, you can always test them. I'm showing you them today because this is what the lecture is about, but you shouldn't remember those things. And, they're just for you to understand. So once you need something, you just have to search it on Google. Right, I think that's pretty much it for this demo. Okay, let's go on. Okay, the object type. Is there a similar thing in C++? There should be. No? The object type can represent any type of data. It is declared with the object keyword. So object is like on top of anything. You can put anything there. So let's have a look.
About var.
var is different. var is different because if you put var, it guesses what you want to do, but for the object it doesn't matter. So if I put this is a very good question. Let me add a new project and I'll answer, because this is interesting as well. Did you know the answer of this question, or you were just asking? Okay. Do you know what the differences is between object and var?
I don't know what to use. I didn't use object.
Okay, so 6 is object type, and then I put here object type. Okay, I wasn't planning to talk about var, but it's gonna be it's gonna be very quick and hopefully easy. So you remember we were doing for every single variable, say int number equals 5, and then char symbol equals say a, and so on. But instead of writing this, I can always use var, and then I have to do another number equals 8. And now when the program, when C# compiles the program, it will guess that another number is an 8, so it has to be an integer. I don't have to specifically say another number is an integer. The program, guesses it by the value that I give after that. So this 8, the program tells itself. So this thing is a number. It's really hard to write with the mouse. Okay, and so I'm gonna replace this with int. I think int was the default one, so it should be doing that with int. The same thing goes here. If I do var another symbol equals b. Now this thing here is clearly a character, it's not a string, right? Because I used the single quotation marks. And another symbol, you know, is a name. We don't care about that, but the program guesses that since this b is a character, then here there should be a character. I strongly suggest that you leave this for JavaScript, because in JavaScript you don't have data types the way you do in C#. So what I suggest is just do not use the one below in C#. You know, it's easier to read, it's better in many ways, so just use that. Now, since this is not the topic of this demo, I will just comment on all of that. Okay, what is different between var and object? So object is different. Object, some number equals 5. But after that, I want to say some number equals, you know, bunny. Okay, and normally if I do this with a number, first give it a value of 5, and then say I want this value of this number to be, you know, string, it's going to give me an error clearly. Otherwise, there is no reason for us to have data types at all. But here, if I do some number, this should work, right? So at first it was a 5, then it was a bunny, and at the end we can print it and it works fine. And it works the same way. If I now put some number equals, you know, 123, and then I do that again, you know, it's 123. So I'm allowed this, you know, like a general type that you can put everything into it of the primitive data types. So can anyone tell me why do we not always, you know, write object, 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 and so on? Sorry? Close, but you know.
When we use polymorphism and different classes, we can't use a specific function from another class as the player.
This is also true, but very advanced. I'm talking about something very, very simple. Yes, it is true. You are very correct. It's big. Okay, so the object takes a lot more memory, and you know, we don't want to waste memory just because we are lazy remembering what the variables have to do. So, you know, object, do not use unless some very special case requires. I had to use object precisely once, and that was when I was doing I told you that in the next course we'll be doing the list data structure or queue or something like that. So there I couldn't get it to work, so I just put object in one place, and it worked fine. But you know, that was a bit of cheating, so normally you shouldn't be using the object. And do not use unless some very special case occurs.
So you don't use object for OOP, right?
No, you normally don't have to use object. And like almost never. It has to be some very, you know, obscure situation where you will need one data type to be acting as 2 or something like that. So something similar happens when you write list of t. But yeah, it has to be a very special case, and in any way we'll be making games, so you won't have to worry about that. There are game objects in games if you're confused about that. So in Unity 3D, the main, you know, class of object is called game object, and that is necessary, but below you have to specify what kind of game object are you using. Is that anything that was on your mind, or no? Was I going into too much details? Yes, we can check, I think. So some number dot. Okay, so toString. This is a method that every single object has, and get type, get hash code, and equal. So these four can be used on every single object. It doesn't matter if it's a string, if it's an int, or a list, or anything more complicated. All of them have these four methods, just because object is the more abstract data structure out there. So everything is an object. Even when we make a bunny later on, it's going to be an object as well. So we have a bunny. It has 4 legs. It can run. It has 2 eyes. It has life, age, and so on. So this is going to be an object as well. So object is the most abstract thing. And when you think about it, it's object. Now, how more abstract can you go with an object? You don't know what that is. Okay. Yeah. If you want to check the properties of a string, so let me see if that's gonna work. So string, some string, just to know what you're getting yourself into. Bunny, and then some string dot, and there you go. All of these, they're not nice. And furthermore, there is the string class, which has a couple of more. And yeah, there are actually a lot more, but we have to do we have to add another library, but that'll happen later on. I promise you it's going to be a horrible, nightmarish lecture, so you don't have to worry. You think it's the easiest one?
About it's the hardest in the first book, but the easiest at the time. I mean the default model will be difficult.
No, actually I don't think so. So when I was doing these lectures and courses, when you learn, the amount of energy you have to put into learning, string and arrays and doing the problems there, it does not compare with making a game with phaser, because making a game with phaser is nice, but when you have to parse a text in some weird way, it's very, very bad. And yeah, the problems that I was solving, they had many catches in them, so I could never get the 100% there. There was always something that I was missing, like as a case, like if there are a couple of spaces, not just a single one, how do you count that as a word, and so on. So strings are just horrible. Okay, so but yeah, if you know these things already, then making a game with phaser will be as easy as okay, this does this, this does this. Okay, I'm fine. I'm good to go. So you have to spend the time to learn the functions, but it's a lot funnier and easier to do that once you have some basis. For now, we are just trying to get the basis. Okay, this was about the object, so it can be anything. Right, so the dynamic type can hold anything. So dynamic is similar to object in a sense, but let's see what's different about it. Is there dynamic in C++? Do you know? It's some say that my lecturers at least told me that it's the worst invention of Microsoft. So we will see why. So this is 7 dynamic type, and this will be very, 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 very brief. Okay. Does this ever get boring to you? I wonder. I know. Like if everyone is doing it, why? Like at least make some kind of a property or a tool that can do that. I mean, okay. So yeah, dynamic. So what is the difference between dynamic and an object? So dynamic is evaluated, and the operations between dynamic types are evaluated at runtime. Okay. This is similar to JavaScript and so on. So it's not compiled in the proper way where C# or Visual Studio, they read your code, they see if there are any mistakes and so on. So any calculation will be evaluated at runtime, which is really, really bad because it delays your program by quite a lot. Okay, so normally when when you compile your code and it's transferred, someone asked me last time, when it's translated into zeros and ones and so on into a language that computer understands, after that starting it is easy. But if you use dynamic, this is gonna slow things down for you. So I probably cannot do complicated enough operations now, but if you use dynamic in say 20 or 30 places, you will see that your program is just gonna get slow. So do not ever use dynamic. So let's see what we can do with it. After I've said that you should never use it, let's see what you can do with it. So dynamic, why do you not work? Why do you not work? Have they removed it? Can you imagine? So dynamic type C#. You see this? Did I write it with a capital letter? No, I didn't. No, it's the same. That was very weird. Anyway, so some random dynamic nonsense. Is nonsense one word? I think it is. Nonsense. A bit late and we're almost done, but it's fine. Come on in. Okay. Right, so let's put that as 5, just like that. And let's do another dynamic, which is another random dynamic nonsense. And let's put that as an A. And let's do console.write line, and I forgot, of course, the semicolon. So here I want to do some random plus another random. So I want to add them. So do you think if I wrote here int and below there string, was it gonna work? Just adding a string to a number? No, it's not gonna work. But char, it may work, or there may be a method in the long list of strings. Yeah, it should work. But for dynamic, this is gonna work fine. So it's gonna interpret it however it wants. So for C#, if you use dynamic, adding 5 and an A gives you 5A, which is fine. It makes sense. But then I did not want to do that though. Okay, but perfect. Can you go away, please? No, it's not there. Can I just grab you and put you like somewhere? Right, so where do you want me to put you? Sorry? Just a little bit above. So just right in the center. Okay, thank you. I'm very bad at software sometimes, but it's not for everyone. So what is gonna happen if I put instead a 3 here? A 3 there. How is it gonna interpret? Is it 53 or is it an 8? Are you sure? Because I am not sure, honestly. 53. Okay, you were right. But with dynamic, first of all, there is no real reason to use it, and second of all, if you do use it many times, some weird things can happen. Okay. Yeah, I think that was pretty much about everything I wanted to talk about. So yeah. So it's bad. Just don't. Object, it was fine. Like object is fine. It's for your own, safety not to use object because it can be anything. It doesn't tell you what the thing that you're actually declaring is. If you use int string, it's straight away clear what we are using. But here that dynamic is bad because it's slow. So if I did the same calculation 5 plus a with an object, that wasn't gonna work, because I am in reality I am doing, you know, string with a number. So that's a weird thing to do. So homework. These are pretty simple as well. They should take a little bit more time than the homework from the first lecture, but I would say those of you without experience should not be bothered with this with more than an hour. Still some, you know, interesting problems there. You saw an error.
Yeah.
Where?
Point 2, program 2. Oh, my bad.
Okay, it's fine. Right, that was pretty much it. Again, some of the problems and some part of the lectures are taken from there. And if you have any questions, let me know. Any questions? Everything is clear. Okay, is there anyone here who has no experience whatsoever with programming? Was everything clear to you, sir? And you, sir?
Kinda.
Would you like me to repeat anything, or you watched the video? Okay, it looks fine for now. Okay, so I'll pause.